Hi, and welcome to our first podcast of What's DoMe Doing? We want to thank you guys for joining us here at our fabulous live studios here in Nitomas, in my living room of all places. At least it's not the bedroom. We don't get no action there either. But this is our first one, and I have my fabulous do crew here. I have Polly on the camera, and I have Jay right next to me with a big microphone. And we're going to give you guys a little test of getting to know DoMe. So this is going to be a first of hopefully some mini series that we want you guys to follow. So you're going to get to know me for me.
Yeah, they are. Well, first of all, it's what DoMe does.
Yes. Isn't that what I said?
No. We'll get it. We'll get it, though. Don't worry. Yeah, so this is the first episode. I'm excited. This episode, what DoMe does, we're actually going to title it DoMe Does Drag, because this is going to be an episode of about you. You know, everybody tuning in is, they either know you or they want to know more about you. I know you personally a little bit from Drag Queen Bingo.
Yes.
We're going to get down to the dirty with this.
The nitty gritty.
The nitty gritty.
I like it gritty.
So I'm excited. Are you?
I am.
Okay. So let's start out. Why don't you just kind of start out, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Southern California, down in Santa Clara area. And then we moved to Sacramento in about 74, 75. But the real drag world did not start until I was much older. I've been about 90-something. In the 90s, not my age. And I just stumbled upon it's a group called the Imperial Court here in Sacramento. And they needed some contestants. I had already did a title. And then they needed some contestants for a show. And I was kind of like, okay, I can do that. But it was to become a drag queen. You know, and the show is called the Closet Ball, where they go in their original gender, and they have an hour to be made over into the opposite sex. And you have a sponsor. And when I was created, DoMe wasn't my drag name. Somebody decided I needed to be named after their grandmother, and her name was Lucille. I don't look like Luscious Lucy.
Oh, well, that's a good one.
Yes. And so that was the persona that I went on stage with, you know, and I had a sponsor. We were made over, and I lost, but it gave me the respect of what real women and drag queens and transgender go through. And your own responsibility was to shave and then put your business where your business is supposed to go. And then you have a sponsor who creates you. So I have 3 drag mothers, and one of them was the one that created Lucille. And then when DoMe made her entrance at an Imperial Court event, I was created behind a dumpster, and nobody knew what was going on, and they were wondering where my alter ego was. I was supposed to be there, and as a surprise, I came out and I entertained for the first time and shocked a few people. Few people weren't happy with it. But then after that, I just slowly started coming out and being DoMe. And that's how she was created. And that was my second drag mother. And then my third drag mother took me under her wing and just kind of molded me into the drag queen that I am today, with a lot of help from a lot of younger queens now that have I've taken under my wing as my grand drag children, even though I'm very young. And, you know, so between that's how I've established myself.
Okay, so let's roll it back a little bit. Okay, so this is your first time in drag, was this contest that you said?
It was a contest, yes.
Okay. Have you ever thought about doing drag prior to that? Like,
no.
Have you done drag? Like, did you ever do makeup as your mom's makeup, getting your mom's clothes?
I think all gay children did.
Yeah, I did too.
You know, we all kind of made our mother's closets and kind of like put the heels on and put a little blush here and there. Nothing to the extreme that it is now. Even though my mother knew many, many years later and was very supportive of my drag lifestyle and being gay.
Yeah.
You know, so I had an advantage over a lot of the younger kids now who don't have their family support.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I
So,
wanted to go into that because your generation was a totally different era,
oh yes.
pre-drag race, all this other stuff. So, but on this contest or whatever, you just kind of walked into it, or
I kind of knew about it. When I was young, going to the bars, I was just into with everybody else, going to the bar to have a good time, maybe meet somebody, and I just came across a friend that said, "Hey, I'm going to a drag show. You want to go with me?" And I'm like, "I don't know anything about going to a drag show," and so I said, "Okay, sure," and we went, and he started introducing me to people and stuff like that, and I was kind of like, "Wow, you're a dude," and never knowing that's something I would see myself doing almost 20 plus years now.
wow.
And so next year will mark my 30 year of being involved with the imperial court system as a male title. That was my second title that I had, was a male title, and then four titles as a queen. And
So this is all part of the imperial court.
yeah.
That was it. Okay, cool. So do we have any photos of this first
Oh,
drag?
there's photos everywhere. Oh, of my old days?
We're gonna have to get this. No, of this particular contest. Do we have?
I do. I would have to dig them out of the vault.
Oh yeah.
But there are some that are not very clear. But those, again, back then we had cameras. Those of you don't know what a
Polaroid.
camera was, it's a little thing, and you take pictures and you take and get them developed. But yeah, I do have some pictures.
Okay.
We'd have to post them on our website and our Instagram page.
Oh, we totally will be.
Yeah.
So what place did you take? If you're not first, was it like how many people?
They
were
never
there?
told me.
Oh,
They never told me. I think there was like about 4 or 5 of us as contestants. I mean, we were all, and it was at an old bar that's no longer around. I don't know if we're allowed to say the name, but it was Joseph's Town and Country. And they had a little hotel bar and everything else. And they had it upstairs, and they had a little showroom and stuff like that. And all of us got made up into a hotel room. All of us queens and our kings were in there. That was a fun way to get to know each other, and there was a lot of birthing that night.
so you did this contest just as a whim?
No,
No,
no, I lost.
no, as a whim.
Oh yeah, it was just on a whim. I had to go out and buy my own stuff. I didn't know what I was looking for.
All right, so all right, let's move on. So we had your first drag show, and that's kind of what introduced you, or kind of interested you, right?
Yes.
So the minute you put on the wig, did you think, this is me, this is something I want to do?
Yes and no. I think it was once I tucked my business away. Then you're like, oh my God, am I ever going to see that again?
So they made you do that on the first.
Yeah, because that's part of the thing. You got to put your business away. They teach you how to put pantyhose on.
Did they make you pull it up, and did they judge you for your tuck?
No, they didn't even demonstrate. They just said, go and just put your business somewhere where you're not supposed to put it.
Right.
And
They wanted the whole experience.
yeah. I mean, we didn't have hip pads back then. We didn't have breastplates. So we just basically had a pair of tube socks as your boobs. And I mean, they taped my head down, and so to give me more of a brow. But they forgot to tell me how to take it off once I was done with the show. And so I went home, and I'm like trying to take the tape off. I had little sores on my head from trying to take the tape off. We got it off, and I had to go to work the next day and explain what happened. I told him I got in a fight at a bar. I was real butch. And then we had nails on back then. Back then, we actually glued our nails on. Some of the girls still do now. I cheat. I put little press-on ones on. But they forgot to tell me how to take nails off, too. And, oh, my God, we were just prying them, everything else. And they were big, long, probably 1.5 inch nails. And I didn't know what to do with them. And the guy that I was dating at the time, he helped me get them off. The nails, anyways. And that was painful. And so after that, I didn't want to wear nails anymore. And so, but to really get the effect of when I felt like a drag queen is probably when they put the wig on. It's the kind of like the final touch besides jewelry and stuff like that. I look like the whitest Mexican out there. Everything I bought was black fishnets, black tights, black dress, black hair, black gloves.
Earrings.
Oh yeah, I don't remember the earrings, but I think my ears were pierced back then, but now we still glue them on and everything.
Yeah. Well, you've evolved since then. So we've talked about this. Your first drag name was Cecilia?
Lucille.
Lucille. Was it
Luscious
Lucille
Lucy.
or was it Luscious Lucy?
It was just Lucille.
Lucille. Okay, so it wasn't
Kenny
really
Rogers
creative
had
in
a
that.
song called Lucille, and I think that's where his mom was named Lucille after her. After that, I don't know.
Okay. And then he woke up behind a dumpster and Do Me More was born.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Where did Do Me More?
You need to make your mark out there. And I was like, what do you mean? And so he said, hey, I want you to entertain at our show, but I want you to do it in drag. And so I was kind of like, I don't know if I can do that. And so he gave me time to think about it. And so I thought about it. I even made my own outfit, hot melt glue gun, and because I don't sew. And I got one of the queens to paint me, and she created me. And I do have pictures of that. And so we'll have to post that on our Instagram page. And I borrowed some thigh-high boots and a big ruffled coat and everything, and then dropped the coat, and boom, I was on the stage.
What,
And
what was your first performance? Were you lip singing
I
or
lip sync, and you don't want to hear me sing.
well, I mean, were you like telling jokes or was it lip singing? Were you
We
like
just
can't
lip
sing?
sync. We just get up there and entertain, twirl. And people come up, they give you tips and stuff like that. They're tipping you because they like your performance, they like you, or they just want you to get off the stage.
Yeah.
They're giving you money and having fun.
And this is circa 1975 or what?
Oh no, this was back. Oh, what, the outfit or the?
This whole yeah, when this began, this was in the
Oh,
90s. Or,
this was still in the 90s.
okay, so you started drag in the 90s. You moved here in the 70s.
Yeah, I moved here in the 70s, and then started drag in the mid 90s.
Okay.
About 93, 94.
Do you remember your first song?
I think it was I Dream in Color, which was Regina Belle, and then I think there was like a little upbeat mix in there as well. Back then we had cassettes, so we had to kind of mix them ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, you answered a lot of my questions just kind of in your intro, but and one of them was like drag mothers, because all I know kind of from drag is RuPaul's Drag Race. I saw drag shows when I would go to the bars or whatever, but Drag Race obviously kind of put it out there for me, anyways. But was drag mothers, was that always a thing?
Yeah, because a lot of the drag mothers are mentors. They mentor the young queens. We didn't have very many kings back then when I was around. They were around, but they weren't that well established as they are now.
Right.
But we were out there long before the RuPaul. But RuPaul was even out there, but she wasn't as famous and well known as she is.
Right.
And
I think
so,
she started getting out there like in movies and MTV and things
Yeah.
like that. But as far as like drag mother, so when you started this, that first person to put the wig on you is your drag mother.
yeah,
Is that how it always goes? Is the first person that dresses you is basically your mother or
yeah,
mentor?
basically, yeah.
So you better pick who puts that wig on,
Yeah.
basically.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any drag children?
I do. One of them has passed on, and another one, he's actually older than I am. And I have put him in drag as well, and we look exactly like twins,
Yeah.
which is very scary because I don't put other people in drag.
What's their drag name?
I don't remember. It was a one night only thing for him.
Oh, right.
And so he won't do it anymore.
What's the House of More, right? So you got to come up with something.
Well, I adopt other people, and then I create grandchildren, and there's a lot of people. The queens in my community call me grandma.
Yeah.
And even some of the younger kids that aren't even into drag, they're into the drag world, supporting the drag queens and coming to their shows. They call me grandma. And some people think that's very disrespectful. I don't. I think it's very welcoming. It makes me feel that I have an impact on the community. I'm influencing some of the younger people out there that, hey, at any age you can go out and have fun.
Yeah.
I can be the discipline if I have to, which is not my job. I'm the sexy grandma. And if you've ever been to bingo, which you have, you know how I act, And so I do have a following of grandchildren and some great grandchildren. And I'm not offended by them to call me granny or grandma or whatever.
Well, that's my new nickname for you, Grandma.
Yeah.
Granny Moore.
Yes, grandma just turned 58, so she's very proud of that.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for 30 years, and so what does like your shows now look like? Other than, I know, obviously Drag Queen Bingo, but do you do anything else? other than that?
I I still come out and dabble a little bit in the Imperial Court for fundraisers locally. I do travel to other cities if they allow me to come and entertain. Um, I go to San Francisco, Alameda, um, Fresno. But when I did travel the Imperial Court, I used to travel a lot of places, and you meet a lot of wonderful people, which I consider my family. After all these years, I'm still in touch with a lot of my drag sisters and brothers and stuff like that. We all check in each other like a family. And so it's a fun thing. A lot of us kind of like, oh, I have to do that again. I have to put the crown on. I have to get all dolled up. But that's the half the fun of it now, is to get dressed up and put the jewelry on and go out and show off.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not much of an entertainer because I hold myself back because of my hearing and because I don't hear the music like somebody with normal hearing. So I kind of pull myself back about entertaining at the bars because of that. Besides, at my age, you're not going to see me doing a death drop, splits, or anything like that. If I do, they're going to have a gurney and carry me out.
I'll pay for
And
it.
and they probably would pay to see that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I still am active, and my bingo is my first Thursday of every month. And once in a while, I'll come out to some of the local bars and entertain if they ask me to. If they don't, I still go out and support.
Nice. So was it always like that though? Because some people make this a career or it's extra income. Like in the beginning for you, is that something, or was it just more for the act of doing drag and then it evolved into kind of,
It was more of helping the community. A lot of us never thought about money in our pocket. I mean, we probably did, but most of us have a job. And so we never thought about, you know, getting a second job or a third job or making drag a career. Um, I do it because that's just the way I am. I just like to help people and I like to raise money for other organizations. And it makes me feel good at the end.
Mhm.
Over my years, I have given, well, me and the organization, we've given out thousands and thousands of dollars to local nonprofits.
Yeah.
And it really feels good at the end of an event to let people know how much money we actually raised
Yeah,
and then how much we've given out to our community.
absolutely.
And so it makes you feel good. It gives you chills that you have that impact.
Yeah.
And so,
I don't think that's every drag queen's thought process, which is fine.
Yeah.
I respect you for that. But maybe we can talk about some other things
Yeah.
that go into it. Yeah, you do a lot of things that are like nonprofit and things that are, help with the community. I think a lot of drag personas or drag artists also feel that they contribute to it, but it's not cheap.
oh no, it's not. We can look cheap, but it is not cheap
Some
to
do,
put all
yeah.
this on.
So, making tips in the beginning, did you use most of the money, whatever you made? Like, how much did you have to put into your drag? Were you just going to like a
Oh,
thrift
I
store?
started from scratch. I would go to the store and I would go to Kmart back in the day and buy the makeup that they'd have, not knowing what drag queens had to wear,
Yeah.
and I bought liquid foundation.
Is that a no-no?
Oh no, it just seeped right into your skin.
Oh,
And you're constantly putting powder on and everything. And it took me forever how to figure out to put eyelashes on, you know. And then other queens would say, well, hey, I use this. And so I would go and find it. And then now I go to the costume stores and I buy, Ben Nike product that the people use on TV. And so it holds up under the bright lights. I mean, yeah, you still sweat and everything else, but it's not going to run. And so even the eyeshadows, it's just a regular costume eyeshadow. You can go to the mall and buy those expensive stuff, which I do if I have a good tip, and things like that. And then I make it last.
yeah.
As I said, I don't do drag as much as some of the other queens do. I do drag once a month if I'm lucky, maybe a couple times out of the month.
So that was one of my questions was what kind of makeup you use? And this is costume makeup.
I use costume makeup. It's Ben Nye, which is a real product in the clown world, in the costume world, and then Krylon, which is I think it was introduced during the RuPaul's show that the queens were using that.
Mm.
And so one of my grandchildren put me onto that and said, "Hey, Granny, you need to use this foundation." And I've been using it ever since. You know, it's a little pricey, but, it goes a long ways. And, it holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So has your makeup evolved since you began? Obviously.
Oh, yeah, it's come a long ways, I used to try to just tone everything down, and then I went from really simple to really big arched eyebrows and, everything big.
Yeah.
Go big or, go
Stay
home.
home.
And even my wigs back then were very simple. I blended my own hair in with it. I had a lot more hair. And then as the years went on, I would travel and people would introduce us to different wig stores. And one time Mom and I were in San Diego. This is after one of my titles, and we went wig shopping. We bought 4 wigs, and then we tried to figure out how to get them home because we flew. So Mom was like, "Well, you put drag on, and then I'll put drag on, and wear the wigs on, and then we'll carry 2 other ones in." That didn't work. We figured out a way to send them home.
You had to smuggle your wig? You had to smuggle a wig?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
But that was the thing that, and then people taught me how to do some hair. I can't do a lot of hair. I can fluff them and stuff like that. As you can see, the pictures, those are bought just like that. The one behind you is about 3 wigs in one. And that one behind right here is just one with hair.
So do you have to pay for them to get like redone if they?
Oh, yeah.
You just take it into a salon and be like, "Hey, girl."
Well, back then, I don't know where now. A lot of it's all online. Some of the queens have people that will style the hairs for them.
Sounds expensive too.
Yeah, it is expensive.
Speaking of, so what is the average amount of tips that you would make
On a
at a
bingo
show?
night or on a fundraising night?
Well, edit like a show or even bingo. Well, we don't have to talk about bingo because that's current. But like in the past, like what kind of tips?
It depends on what the crowd is, and
What's
maybe if
considered
they're
a good night?
the entertainer, if they're playing a song that they really like. You could probably walk away with a couple $100. I never really think about it because a lot of times when I'm doing those charity shows, I'm donating it to the charity.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get to really see that money then.
Okay, so is $1 just as good as a $5?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and quarters too.
Quarters. Do they make those anymore?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. So with talking about your makeup, talking about getting ready. So on average, how long does it usually take you to get ready?
Too long. On a rush night now, I could probably get ready within an hour and a half.
And the most is just putting on, or just being fussy, like.
I'm just very picky when I won't go out unless everything's in the right spot.
Right. Well, you have a very specific kind of drag style, I think. Is that?
I do.
Yeah.
I can do the prim and proper, or I can do the sleazy, sexy grandma look.
Is that what you? Is this what that is? Is sleazy grandma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can be the naughty grandma, or I could be the prim and proper.
What is this? Prim and proper, or
The one picture behind you with all the.
that's prim and proper?
That's prim and proper.
This is
When you
slutty.
can't see my legs, it's prim and proper. Even right now, I'm being very prim and proper.
Very modest.
Yes.
And I think you kind of said this, but have you done anybody else's makeup before?
I've done 2 people. I can touch up a person's makeup, but for me to fully do them, it's just, I've never trained myself to do it.
To do somebody else's makeup? Because it's kind of like left hand, right hand, right? It's
I'm
kind of
right-handed, so if I do the left side of your face, probably have to be behind you.
that'll work.
Then I'd be poking you in the eye trying to figure out how to apply it.
Well, that's awesome because next month's episode you're going to be doing Paul's makeup. So
Oh, okay.
that would be a fun episode, though.
It
I think
would be.
you should do that. See the man
Paulie's-
behind the
Paulie's
behind the
smiling back
cameras and makeup. He's got a breastplate, so we can make it work. We could all 3 do it.
You want to do the tucking or the makeup?
No. So let's talk about tucking, actually. Tell me about tucking. So I had a friend that did drag, and he would say that, the whole taping back, but he would take a piece of jeans, like a strip of it, and that's how he gave that illusion that it was flat. What do you do? I know there's
I
tape.
just put it between my cheeks there and hope it doesn't get excited. And
But do you tape it? Like
oh, hell no.
you
That
just
hurts.
stick it there and that's
I
it?
just stick it down there, and then I have I have 4 layers of pantyhose. Well, I have 2 tights, a fishnet, and then a pantyhose, and then my little girdle thing to help hold that part down. Plus the hip pads too. I'll have to show you. That's a private thing. But yeah, there's a lot of people that have different tricks of how to tuck. We can't say it on the air. I don't know. Basically you're fucking yourself. Beep. Yes, we had to look at the director and say, "Can I use that word?" Basically, you're fucking yourself.
Ooh,
You're gonna put it up there. You separate your balls, and put it up there if it's long enough. If you're not long enough, then there's no issues.
right. But what about the boys on the side, your side bags?
Some people just kind of blend it down there, and then their undergarments, their little corsets and stuff like that. That helps hold it down. Some of the younger queens, I don't know what they do because they wear less than what I think about wearing, and you can't even see it.
I've seen, yeah, G-strings.
Yeah, so they might be doing the duct tape still.
Uh-huh.
Some of the queens now, and this is just my personal thing, they don't even put boobs on. They don't contour their boobs, or they might contour, but some of them don't. Some of them just leave their little manly pecs, and I'm like, that's not an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
You're just we're all just a dude in a dress, but some of them make it more obvious.
A man with breasts.
Manly boobs.
A man with breasts.
And so I get in trouble when I say that. I'm like, you need some boobs, and they're, oh, you're not supposed to say that. I'm like, this is my opinion.
I think drag is kind of subjective sometimes. Like,
It is.
we've talked about this in the past. Your thoughts on bearded queens are different than other people that.
Oh yeah.
Because there's all kinds of genres out there now. There's bearded queens. There's mask queens.
Yes.
What other kind of queens are there?
Oh, there's
There's like beauty queens, pageant queens.
There's the high fashion. There's the ghetto queens.
Which is kind of your genre, right?
Oh yeah, they're on a beer budget.
A beer budget.
A beer budget queen. I mean, whatever makes you happy, and whatever you're doing to serve your crowd. You could be the most ugliest drag queen, but the crowd loves you for what you're doing, your performance, your character, and all that. And that's a lot of people. They're getting in drag, and they're getting into a character or their favorite celebrity. Okay, I'm gonna do Cher tonight. I want to look like Cher. I want to channel Cher, and some of them do.
Yeah.
And me, I go out to have fun with it.
Yeah.
If something falls out, it falls out.
Some of your preparations for the show, do you ever practice your lip sync or your performance, or you just kind of?
I do. I pick a song. I try to pick several songs, just in case. You never know if some other queen is doing that same song. So I listen to several songs, but I'm old school. I like to listen to country, and then I like some of the new school, within moderation, and then I like disco. You can't go wrong with a disco queen out there. And I just go, that's what separates me from some of the queens now, because they're doing more of the what's new and what the clubs are into. I just gonna go in. I do a song that I'm happy with, I'm comfortable with, and you're not gonna see me doing a death drop.
Yeah.
And I'll flirt with my crowd. I'll pull somebody out and dance with them and stuff like that. Hey, I'm getting a fast buck. Hey, they might get a rise out of it. Who knows?
Have you ever played a song that another queen was going to do the lip sync to, or have you ever seen that happen?
No.
So it's just a fear in your head to have.
Yeah,
two
I
songs.
just kind of just go on.
Just in case.
I do sometimes practice in front of the mirror.
Uh-huh.
But even that, you kind of freaks yourself out. You're kind of like, okay, well, who are you looking at?
Yeah.
And so things like that. But there's some queens that really, they're watching the RuPaul's Drag Race, so they've got their earbuds in, and they're really working that number. So I don't know. I haven't got myself into doing that.
You don't want to be the, what's her name, where she wears
Yes, yeah, put the little.
I would like to keep it on. Okay, so fun story times. We're getting close to the end. As far as your performances, give us a good story. What's the worst, a bad experience? Oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Technical difficulties or something that.
Testicle difficulty? No, I never had that. I think probably the heels. You're walking in 6-inch, 7-inch, stilettos sometimes, and you hit just a little pebble on the floor, and you can kind of oh, she's drunk again. So I've had that little stumble, But I've never, knock on wood, I've never fallen down or anything like that.
Yeah, no,
You
I'm looking
know?
for face planting
Oh
stories.
yeah, you
No,
know. And if you do, you just hope to God you just play it off.
your wig's never flown off.
Oh
Or,
no.
no,
I have taken my
that's not
boob out
fun.
one time.
Purposely?
Yeah. They were sliding around and it was hot and sweaty. I just took it out and sat it on the table.
Oh, I thought you went like.
And that was when I wore the little silicone things. And I was like, oh, forget this crap. And I just took the boob out and sat them on the table. And my friends that were sitting there, they're like, she just left her boobs. And, you know, just went on doing my thing.
I bet if you put those in the freezer, those make nice ice packs.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah. See? Tip.
Uh,
Drag tip.
A new tip. We could do a health show.
Well, write that down. That'll be one of them. So for your fans and for the listeners in here, what do you think they can expect from the show? What do you have in store?
I just hope they enjoy it. You know, again, this is my opinion on a lot of segments, my history. You know, everybody has their own thoughts on drag and stuff like that. And I just wanted to put my feelings out there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm nobody famous or anything like that. I mean, I can be. I just want people to know what I go through. Some people find my life interesting.
Yeah.
You know, if you read my Instagram post or Facebook, oh my gosh, it's all over the place.
We don't.
But I just wanted to share this, and then I hope everybody enjoys it and then likes it, and then they tune in for upcoming events that we have going on.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for it. Thank you for letting me be a part of this
Awesome.
and
Thank you guys for being a part.
help you promote all of this. I look forward for all the other shows. Next month is February, which is Valentine's Day.
Already.
I know. So next month's episode is what DoMe does. DoMe does love, right?
Oh, I love everybody.
But we're gonna get a little bit more detail that we didn't talk about, like dating, what it's like to be a drag queen, dating a drag queen, and maybe some other stuff that goes on with that.
I thought nasty stuff.
Is there any additional stories or thoughts you want your listeners to?
Oh, no. You know, just again, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and then we have our website. And you know what our website is because I can't remember it.
Well, it's not quite a website yet, but it's whatdomedoes@gmail.com for the email.
Okay.
Check us out on YouTube, What DoMe Does channel.
And then also you can find me every first Thursday of the month hosting Drag Queen Bingo down at Mango's in Midtown Sacramento.
Yeah. Do you happen to know what next month's?
I do not.
I'll
I
have
am
to
a
look it
blonde under a brunette, so I do not remember.
We roll with them. We'll have to
Yeah.
post that on that.
All
with
I
the
know
next
is it's
one,
going to
but,
be a fun event, and we're going to raise money for a new nonprofit group.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Can't wait to see it next. Is it next week? No, it's in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, yeah.
All right. Yeah. And then we'll put together next month's show. So
Awesome.
awesome, DoMe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Y'all come back now, you hear? Ooh, ooh, ooh.